So my name is Sergio Sarasua. I've been a new Life K9 handler since March 2018.
My name's Jose Solorio. Everybody knows me as J.P. and I've been here same amount of time as my friend Sergio here. We came in here together. So,
can you tell me a little bit about how was the experience working with a puppy?
So one of the things that really sticks out working with the puppy in prison is that I went from depending on myself, taking care of only myself, focusing on my needs, to having another living being, completely dependent on me. And like you, I came in really young at 15. I hadn't really experienced what responsibility felt like. I had really no work ethic. I thought let's go back to thinking about myself. And there's a lot of immaturity there, man. Even though I'd grown up physically and, in prison, I was 30 years old. Emotionally, I was still that 15-year-old kid coming in, man. So having that responsibility, having to share country, having to work with other people in a close proximity, not getting things my way all the time, having to consider other people, the dog's needs, people's needs. It helped me grow up. At first it wasn't good because I felt like that little 15-year-old kid again, but I realized it was the best thing for me. So I realized how to think outside that little box that I had, and I grew up, man. Believe it or not, in 2 years I caught up. So
you mentioned that you were 15 years old when you first came to prison, and I can relate to that because I was also 15 years old. So we have a lot of things in common. Being really young, coming to prison, not having kids, never being married, never having the responsibility to pay a bill or to take care of a household. Mm-hmm. When you were assigned to country, it was basically a baby. He was a puppy. He was 8 weeks old. So now you had a huge responsibility in your hands. You had to take care of another life other than yours. Mm-hmm. Never having had that experience before. How did that make you feel?
First, it was a little scary, man. To tell you the truth, man. It was kind of like, what? Especially in prison, there's so many things that can go wrong. Because, like I said, me and you have been in prison for a long time. Seen a lot of bad stuff. So I was kind of worried about it. But as time went on, I realized that not everything is as bad as I paint things out to be. As time went on, I became more sure of myself, as far as the country and the other puppies and the dogs, that, we could keep them safe. We could meet their needs where they need to be met. And the people around me would do the same, And after a while, I built my self-esteem and built my confidence in myself. Like, you could talk about country, you could talk about Nolan or Sparrow, or the other dogs that I was, other teams that I was a part of, and each one gave me something individually. So country showed me where I needed to work on my immaturity. Nolan gave me a little more confidence because he pushed me. He was an easy dog, and he actually, he tested me, and through that test, I learned that I was pretty, I could be a good dog handler if I just put my effort in. And with Sparrow, it's just come full circle, man. So it's made me feel really good. It wasn't easy, but the payoff is good emotionally.
So you've gone a long way in your journey here in New Life K9. First being assigned to country. Later on, you were promoted to primary of Nolan, our chocolate Labrador, that didn't graduate, but went as a Warriors support dog to Dr. Bright, his puppy racer. If you remember one memorable thing that Nolan taught you, what would it be?
I remember Nolan at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was sleeping there, got up on my bed, startled me, and just burrowed in. I was like, and Nolan's a pretty big dog, so it just startled me. I'm like, hey, what's wrong with that? What's this? And not being close with anything for the majority of my life. I said I came in young. That affection that he gave me, like, I was like, wow, it just made me feel good. Like when he settled in my bed and he started snoring, I'm like, oh, this guy likes me, man. This guy really trusts me. And mind you that he woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was so uncomfortable there, but it made me feel good about myself. And another light turned on because I'm like, what's wrong? Something's wrong. What's going on here? Like, I felt uneasy because it was something unfamiliar I never really experienced. It's been a really long time. So I've been away from my family. And I realized it's like, man, like I've been deprived of closeness, of affection, of love. And I'm like, all right, Nolan, man, like you love me and you want to make sure, you don't care how I look like or what I've done, or even me trying to get you through that finish line and taking some things away from you, Nolan. You still love me, man. So, and it made me feel good about myself, man. I started feeling more confident about myself. And
so we can safely say that Nolan knocked down those barriers that you had to build up yourself, and he genuinely showed you affection and love for the first time in prison.
Yeah.
And now I know that Nolan didn't graduate as a food service dog, even though he's living a good life. He's a warrior support dog with a family that loves him, obviously. Did that at any time shatter your confidence in not being able to graduate him for Ronnie, our brother that passed away? And I know you put in a lot of work. You're constantly out there in the yard working on his barking, working on his pulling, and just any obstacle that he had. How did that make you feel, him not graduating?
My experience? Well, first of all, it was horrible. It made me feel horrible. And you said it, I mean, Ronnie, he was our brother, and when he passed away, it hurt all of us. I took it as like I was given that responsibility as his primary to get him past that finish line. And it was tough not being able to graduate him. If I would be lying to say that it wasn't. We wanted to do it for Ronnie, me and Felix at the time, and just seeing him like do good and then regress and then do good and regress, it hurt me. But at the end of the day, like I realized, and it goes into what we talked about earlier. We came in as 15-year-old kids, and like not really understanding what life had, in store for us, and like as long as he was happy, if he was going to go somewhere, and he went with Dr. Brightwood, which is great. That's all that mattered, because at the end of the day, that's what all Ronnie would have wanted, and that's all I wanted for him, and so yeah, it was tough, man. But I'm happy. I got to see him a couple times now. He looks great. He's a great dog. He just wasn't cut out to be a service dog. He didn't want to be a service. He let us know, but outside of that, he didn't do anything less for me than any other service dog would do for their people. So well, now that we've talked about that, about not graduating a dog, I think someone who has graduated a dog, right, Jet, and on the episode, like, what has that done for you, man? Because I know it's coming in the program, that's what we set out to do. That's a big goal of mine. I still haven't. Sparrow's next in line, and a couple hopefully with Ned. What, seeing that come full circle, is like, what did it do for you, man? Like, as far as in here?
I think and I said it countless times. Jed and this program and the experience, the journey that I had in here in the past 2 years brought me back to my true self. It helped me become free, in a sense, from the inside. Yes, we're still in prison, but this program has allowed me to finally shatter all those barriers that I built up for myself, get rid of that prison mentality that I had lived by for so long. And again, for me, it's a big thing finally accepting my name. Going by the name that my mom gave me. And it's been a huge milestone because if it wouldn't been for Jet, if it wouldn't been for you guys here, if it wouldn't been for Ned, Sergeant Gregory, Captain Selby, Nicole, and all the staff that are involved to get this mission off the ground, I'll probably still be sitting in the cell. I'll probably still be just thinking about myself. Today, I think about Ned coming back later. Today, I think about graduating Ned in the next few months and next year. But yes, I was fortunate enough to be part of Team Jet, and even though at moments there were times that we thought he wasn't gonna graduate because he pulled it out because his sensitivity. When we did reach that goal with Amber, his preparation, and Timothy, my partner, there was a lot of joy in my heart. I don't think I've ever cried so many times from the time I joined New Life K9 to this moment.
Yes.
And I will forever remember that experience because not only did I was able to graduate Jet with my teammate and Amber, but I got to meet a great man, Fire Captain Mike. I got to hear his story, and as I shared before too, I got a chance and opportunity to read his letters, how Jet impacted his life so far, and that's just motivation. That's just motivation for me to be more committed, be more motivated, and just put all my heart into graduating not only Ned, but helping graduate another dog. And yes, it's been a great journey having worked with all these dogs. But you come a long way too. After Nolan, you were assigned to Sparrow, Labradoodle. He came in when he was 4 months old. You raised him. Not only that, you were assigned to a new puppy, Apollo, just a few months ago. So you have the double responsibility. Sometimes I see you walking in the day room here in the dorm with like just Sparrow following you around, Apollo following you around. Like you're like a full-time parent. You're doing college, you're doing other works, but primarily you're a father of Sparrow and Apollo. How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes you feel great, believe it or not. I mean, you got to believe it, right? You said full time, right? And I heard you say responsibility. And let's go back to that, like growing in, coming into prison, stepping into the program, I didn't really have that. And what I think being able to experience what I experienced here is going to help me with is being able to take that to this, out there in society and out there where life happens, where people go to college, take care of kids, go to work, do all this different things and not be overwhelmed by it, and be able to manage some of those feelings and reach out for help when I need it, it's helped me just grow up, man. So I think this is perfect preparation for the day I do go home, and really live life out there. We talk about rehabilitation. This is probably the best, like, live, hands-on, experience that I could have that can help me grow, in here, without, what I'm saying? Because we lived in the box for all them years, I was, for being in that cell and confined to our space, not talking to staff, not talking to other inmates because of whatever. I've learned how to take criticism. I'm not, that's another big point that I think is important when you're at your job site, when you're in a relationship, when you're dealing with your neighbors and anything. The things we learn in here are like applicable out there 100%. Even though it's unorthodox, been in the gym full of 20 guys and 10 dogs, and you have to share a dog and come together, and it's still applicable. You can still use this.